You spend your entire life building it. You check the numbers on your phone, watch the green lines go up, and feel secure. But what happens when the screen goes dark? If a geopolitical shock hits tomorrow, trading halts, and your bank freezes withdrawals, what is your actual net worth? Most people assume a severe market crash wipes out a society's wealth, turning everyone poor overnight. But wealth doesn't evaporate, it simply moves. It transfers from the people holding fragile, abstract numbers to the people holding tangible, real-world value. To figure out exactly what holds its value when the system breaks, we have to look at the worst economic disasters in history and see what assets actually survive when fiat currency dies. Fiat currency is government-issued money that isn't backed by a physical commodity like gold or silver. In 1923, a banker in Berlin could have had 30 years of savings locked in government bonds and bank accounts. By November, that life savings couldn't buy a cup of coffee. Hyperinflation turned the national currency into children's play blocks. But 40 miles outside the city, a farmer was living a different reality. He held the first survival asset, productive land. When paper money collapses, people still have to eat. That farmer didn't care the currency was failing because he controlled the food supply. City dwellers were trading pianos and diamond jewelry just for a sack of his flour. During the French Revolution, the government issued a paper currency called the assignat. Within 5 years, it lost 99% of its purchasing power. But citizens who converted their wealth into our second asset, gold, kept everything. Gold acts as insurance because its supply is mathematically scarce. When numbers in a bank account stop making sense, survival depends on holding items that are physically scarce and biologically necessary. In the 1980s, Brazil experienced inflation so aggressive that supermarkets had employees sprinting down the aisles, changing price tags multiple times a day. This brings us to the third asset, owning an essential business. Sellers of food and medicine survived because they dynamically adjusted prices to match inflation. If you sold luxury items, your customer base vanished, but people will spend every dying penny to buy basic survival supplies. For those who couldn't own a pharmacy, there was a fourth strategy, abandoning their failing domestic money entirely. They off-ramped into stable foreign currency, primarily the US dollar. This reserve currency insulated them from the collapse happening right outside their front doors. Navigating chaos requires leverage. You either need to control physical goods or hold a medium of exchange that the world still trusts. Let's go back to Weimar Germany to look at the fifth asset, real estate. The paper price of a building might inflate to billions, but the physical structure didn't change. It still provided shelter and extracted value. Eventually, society can abandon money altogether. In 1946, Hungary saw prices doubling every 15 hours, forcing the economy into a barter system. That's when the sixth asset took over, essential skills. The new wealthy class wasn't white-collar, it was mechanics, electricians, and plumbers. A practical skill is the ultimate asset. The government cannot tax it, a bank cannot freeze it, and inflation cannot destroy it. You can always trade your labor for food. When mathematical constructs collapse, physical infrastructure and human utility are the only anchors left. Look back at the modern investor panicking over a red portfolio. Now compare them to a pragmatist who studied this history and built a financial fortress. Traditional assets like stocks and bonds have a specific purpose, effectively compounding wealth when the system is stable. But when shocks hit, those paper returns shatter. That's when tangible assets act as your armor, absorbing the impact. Productive land, gold, essential businesses, stable foreign currency, real estate, and essential skills. True wealth is never the glowing digital number on a screen. True wealth is the physical, practical value you have left when the money disappears. Protect your future. Study the history of markets and start building an anti-fragile portfolio today.